But what's happening in society now is that some people, I don't know, I'm gonna say the majority. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to. I'm just saying. I'm seeing it a lot. People are using any form of masculinity as toxic.
And labeling it as toxic.
Any form.
And running with it.
Any degree, any ounce is automatically toxic.
Yeah, and to get to
like if I try to get my son to play a masculine sport, that would be considered spreading toxic masculinity.
Someone could say
yeah,
that.
somebody would say
somebody
that.
Could.
Well, then it would be, well, what's a masculine sport?
Yeah,
you know?
that's the
Because nowadays every sport can be played by any gender. So now it's like, okay, well, what's a masculine sport?
Well, I'll throw a chip on the table. So technically, what can be toxic? And hear me out. If somebody had their son being a ballerina, they could be senses as, hey, you're not allowing your son to be a man.
Yeah.
Or if someone says their son is, or let's even go back on the last 15, 20 years, a nurse is traditionally a female occupation. Mm-hmm. So if someone would have told someone's father, hey, I'm about to be a nurse, the response could have been like, well, that's a woman's job. Or
usually was for a long time.
Yeah.
Until they recently found out some things, and that's when they started hiring a bunch of them when we were in college and giving people like raises on a nurse's salary.
Yeah, they did market to more males. It was a whole
same
push.
thing with teaching.
Yeah,
they are begging for men to be teachers because you don't get a lot of those.
You don't. I've only had one male teacher until high school.
Yeah, my first male teacher was, I think I was in the 6th grade.
Yeah, I was
Mr. Peterson. No, does Mr. Peterson count though? Because he was an art teacher.
Yeah, well, no, yeah, Mr. Peterson and Mr. My career teacher, Mr. Bodie.
No,
just discount this man as a teacher because he teaches art.
No, I'm just saying. Compared, like,
toxic.
Right? Oh man,
I'm
who's supposed to be art teachers?
I'm just saying.
You meant like homeroom teacher,
people,
like
like a primary teacher.
Like
well, no,
like
then that would be my first.
For extracurricular activities, you could find a male teacher, but when it comes to like math, English.
My first homeroom teacher that was a male was Mr. Martinson. That was the 7th grade. He was my social studies teacher, and he was white. That was my first white teacher.
Yeah, I think. For me, what was it? I think my first male teacher was 7th, 8th grade. I had I think his name was Mr. Hyler. He was a social studies teacher.
Mr. K. Jones.
Mine was,
and if it wasn't him, it was like a PE instructor. But I mean,
right.
Mine was Mr. Peterson's brother. He was the algebra teacher.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but again, that was like 6th, 7th grade.
Right.
Yeah. Well, it's not a common. Well, us growing up, it wasn't a common thing for us.
I've met, when I was going to school to be an elementary teacher, there were a lot more guys in the class. So I think it's definitely starting to change over the past 7-8 years.
Yeah. So even using that example, I always go back to taking the option away. If someone says, hey, I'm going to be a teacher, and someone says, well, that's a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you're not supposed to do that. Or you have other options, like or even politely pushing somebody for other occupations. It can be considered as toxic.
Mm-hmm.
I hope this isn't a toxic statement,
please.
But generally speaking,
waiting on this.
Women are generally more caring than men are. So I mean, that might be the reference for it when it comes to young children, 1st through 5th grade.
Yeah, scientifically speaking, women are more nurturing.
I think women have the most extreme from that. They're really nurturing, or they really don't want to do it. You know what I mean? I don't see a lot of women in between. As far as like when you talk to I talk to females, they either they're like either want to be moms, or they hate the idea of it.
Absolutely against children.
Yeah, they're absolutely against being a caregiver, and it's because they don't the fear of taking care of somebody.
Yeah,
it's not a half dozen 60 other situations.
Is it the fear of wanting to fall into that role that traditional feminine role?
It's 50-50. It's the pressure of taking care of a child and not messing it up because of something that might happen to them, or that they've seen, or it's falling into something that might slow down their life.
That will go into toxic femininity because other women would hear that and be like, well, she's not a real woman. How do you not, women are supposed to want to be mothers and wives and be, take care of folks and stuff like that. And when you come across a woman who's the exact opposite, you hear the arguments of like, well, you're not a real woman. Then
talk about the vagina.
Oh, okay. And so that goes into pregnancy as well, because you have women. It goes into pregnancy as well, because I've literally and even recently seen Facebook arguments about how people would say that a woman who had a baby by C-section didn't really have her baby because she didn't push it out herself.
People are saying this.
And other women are saying this.
That's like saying, like, bro, you didn't make your popcorn. You put it in the microwave. I stovetop this motherfucker. This is popcorn, bro. The way you got it was false.
Mine popped. Yours popped.
That is the type.
That is a great analogy.
No, it really is. But that's the type of like toxic femininity that's out there, being told, oh, you didn't really have that baby. You didn't push it out. That doesn't count. It doesn't count.
I said they carved you up on like a Christmas goose and got that baby out.
And it's so devastating.
I've been in circles where I've heard people talk to like add like even
you needed medication. You couldn't do it without no medication.
I did mine naturally.
Yeah, and it's like it becomes this like
sad blood boo boo water for fucking hours too. You'll bow your pH off now for the rest of the year.
It becomes this thing of like, who's the tougher woman, because you needed help, you needed this, you needed that. I did this by myself.
It's an alpha complex.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Can we act alpha woman?
I think
yes.
You know what? I don't think it's an alpha. I won't say alpha. I think it's a beta complex, because I think it's a fear of being lesser. Because I feel I do have an alpha mentality.
Yes, you do.
I do.
Definitely.
And when it comes to women, I legitimately feel like I have zero say in what she does. Like, you know what I mean? Because I don't have to worry about being lesser or like, better than her, because I feel like it's a different category. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if I go and me and Em have a baby, I'm just there to be told what to do. That's my whole thing. Like if the doctors, if she goes out and they ask me what she wants, I'm like, wake her up. She's like, bro, like, you want you an epidural? Like, I'm not gonna tell you yes or no. It's not my job. Call her aunt, call her aunt. Wake her up, figure it out. I'm here for support. I'm here to catch. She pushes, I catch.
Got the baby.
As far as this goes, you know what I mean. And it's for I think it's a weak, and not to, I don't make this a race thing, but I think it's weak men, and it seems like no man, I'm doing it. Weak men have put this pressure on women more than women have put this pressure on themselves to make this like, be feminine, to be weak, to do, that type of stuff, to, know, and like, it's just.
Well, and I think it's a big, one of my favorite lines to me is, in Magicians, Margot. And she called, I think she called somebody,
Katie.
She called somebody, like, so usually, the reference, you call somebody a dick or something. But she said, you know what? I'm actually call you pussy because pussies are stronger than dicks. And then I thought about it. I'm like, well, actually, me as a man, the concept of me birthing something out of my private parts,
I can't imagine that.
I can't even imagine them. Like, it seems stronger to me than something that's soft and something that's so like. I don't know. A lot of concepts when I think of softness and is automatically related to women is a lot of things. Well, women actually have a stronger upper hand when it comes to a lot of stuff.
Well, Trevor Noah said the same thing. That was like one of his things he said in his comedy special, where he was just like, "Why is like a dick is fragile? Like
very fragile.
It's like you like literally just flick it and we're in instant pain. But like a woman will literally reproduce and have a baby come out of it, and then it goes back to its original. it goes back to being
morphs back.
Yeah, it morphs back to the way it was prior.
And the only reason I brought that, what you said,
I think the strength in the vagina is not just like strength, it's versatility. It does so many things. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest. It's just so many things that a vagina does. Like it cleans itself.
I don't have that.
It restarts it resets itself every fucking month, and it bleeds, and like it's a wild thing.
It's a very wild thing.
Birth children.
Good job.
But yes, so being toxic, anybody has the capability of being toxic.
It's me.
But when we want to label it,
it's all of us,
masculine or feminine, you know, that has more so to do with the gender role that they're not acting within, or, you know, acting out of.
And one of the biggest topics, I mean, and I hate to go off. Where are we on in time? I don't want to.
Oh, we got some time.
Okay. I'm just always think of, because I've had conversations with, you know, people that's close, especially men, is that men not